New weekly challenge. Paul Jesus Rovere is our star hero. Let's see what we've got in store. Roadrunner clean the area by taking out the walkers. I think we had this in the last set, and maybe the set before as well. So Jesus, he's pretty useless. Gives a very small bump to your health. 22% or so bump to damage. It's not massive, is it? Anyway, we want to use him as the leader because, of course, we get more stars if we do. I'm just bringing an all melee team. Yes, we've got some round passes, but we're just at the start anyway, so not expecting too much of a challenge. But this is who I'm bringing, so let's see what's in store. So Roadrunner, I think of this as a classic ranged mission. Certainly you can use ranged characters. You're not really going to get any kind of bump from Jesus's leadership trait if you do that. His trait only affects melee characters, which, you know, when you compare him to lovely Connie there, you can see why he's not a top tier hero. Not by a long shot. So this is, this is just a straight up kill all walkers. It's not like there's anything horrible like they spawn right next to you turn after turn. It's not like they start within arm's reach. It's not a tricky one. So hopefully you won't have too many dramas. Don't forget you've always got your tools and your supports if you have to. I think that because there's a lot of space for those walkers to traverse, characters like Tyrese pretty good. If you need to slow them down, how about using Magna? Definitely a big fan of using Connie just on everything anyway, but these are heavies. All of these missions are going to feature unique walkers, tough walkers. Could be that characters like Survivalist Rick could come in useful with his more powerful charge attacks. Just saying. I think that Jesus's damage boost does affect also charge points. The way that it's usually worded, that's how it usually works. A damage boost bumps up any hurt that you're doling out. So I think it affects charge attacks, meaning that it would stack with Survivalist Rick's leadership trait. Well, another camp for you to loot. Escape through the gate. Okay, yes, we're definitely bringing somebody who can stay at the top. Where is that beautiful burnout rifle? There we are. Yeah, I think we keep the team like this. So this is not the same as Roadrunner. This one you're going to have to move around. I think that this is one of the more innovative maps. I do actually like this one. I tend to be kicking myself when it gets to later difficulties because it can get tricky. I think that this is a good idea. So having somebody who, a ranged character, somebody who's kind of got everybody's back. Beautiful. Just doing that kind of thing is very, very handy. You've got a large map, so being able to set walkers alight is good. Yes, a lot of them start on fire already, but you can always help them along. There is a threat counter, so if you do what I'm doing with Carol there, you will be making more problems for yourself in a sense. You will be encouraging more walkers to come along when the threat counter hits 0. So you could bring lots of silent weapons, weapons that reduce the threat counter. That's also an option. Or you could just forego having somebody up here with a noisy ranged weapon and just go melee all the way. You are sort of bottlenecked along this part of the map here, just a little bit, but then so are the enemies. Things like Tyrese's debuff circles, Magnas, Beth's, anything like that. the walker's going to be trapped in there. No way to escape. It's a tricky, it's a little bit of a tricky map to actually sort of say, oh hey, look, this is what you should do, because there's a lot of different ways that you can tackle this. Glen, of course, might be of use, because you've got lots of interactive bits on here. So opening that gate, searching those crates here, be able to move afterwards. Yeah, this is definitely a tricky one. It's what I think of as an in-depth map. It takes a while and it takes some strategy and planning. I really think as you get to the higher difficulties, then you really want to be thinking about how much noise you're making. You don't want that threat counter ticking over. You want to be hitting hard and moving fast as well. As far as I'm aware, there's no way to cheat with that gate. You do have to go all the way around and open it from the other side. Were there some heavies on that? This mission set is called the Heavies. I would have thought you'd have missions like barbecue and things like that, where all of the walkers, or most of the walkers, are uniques. Was there... I suppose there were flaming walkers. I guess they count. Don't really think of them as heavies, but I guess that's why it's in this mission set. Clear the area. Right-o. Okie dokie. We're going to have some armoured walkers right now. Let's go all melee again, shall we? So this one, definitely a threat counter for this. I don't think you have any walkers coming out of the sides or anything. You do have a good couple of walkers there at the start. And then the main course is these guys over here. And then the ones that are also stuffed in that special weapons and tactics van. The threat counter on this just... I'm sure, maybe it's just my imagination. It always just seems to sort of go round really, really quickly. Oh, I tell you what, actually. Something that I could have done. Could have brought Glen. It's only a one-turner, that. Glen's actually pretty damned useful here. Because otherwise... we open that back and then... what do we do? We've got an entire character out of action, essentially, because they use their action to open that door. So I actually think Glen is a very, very good choice here. I think Glen, Connie with Jesus in the lead, I think that could be a bit of a winning combo for this. Connie, of course, because you can boost your damage and you can get charge points even if there's no walkers on the screen. So I think that that's a pretty effective little team. Honestly do. There he is. There's Glen. See? It's a sign. It's a tricky one. It's a tough one. Certainly on the later levels, making noise is a problem. Ideally, you want to stay silent or even reduce that threat. When extra walkers come in, it makes it so difficult. Obviously, those are armoured walkers. They're resilient. They're tough. But they can be stunned. They can be distracted. You know, you've got stun grenades in your toolkit. Got Whisperer's Mask and things like that. You have to, it's one of those missions. It's not one of those ones where you can say, "Aha! Well, you don't have to kill everything. You can just get to the exit." No, you gotta have some hitting power, some firepower. You've got to be able to kill some tough walkers. Barbecue. I knew this would be there. So this is one where I think going ranged is a great idea. Let's just give these guys the right stuff. So Jesus is virtually useless. Maybe what we could do... yeah, I like the idea of having this. So Jesus, there's no way that I'm going to go up and just start walloping these tanks with Jesus, because he'll just get ripped apart. But if I've got something like the mace, then that means that I can bash the walkers back when I hit them. It means I can also interrupt them. He can sort of be of use. So, for example, I could put him there. Now, the reason why I've got Rick and Yumiko, you start a good distance. If you can ensnare the enemies and slow them down, you've got a lot of time to work. Why is Rick so useful? His heirloom. There we go, there's Grimmy. And that was an insta-kill. Even though we caused enough damage to actually kill him anyway. And this is just, it's a nice big map. There's lots and lots of tanks. There's none that start within arm's reach. Some of them start a little closer than others. I think the Rick is a bit of a champ on missions like this because of his insta-kill with his heirloom, if you've got that sort of nicely leveled up. Don't need to worry about making noise. You've definitely got a large map. These walkers have to move around a lot, so setting them alight, pretty good shout. Don't forget, because these are unique walkers, you get a lot more points for killing them. So this mission set, since you're guaranteed to have a lot of big walkers, could be one where you make a lot of XP. So far, so good. So what have we got waiting for us in store now? Take down both of the tough walkers. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you've got two sides, basically. You've got two tanks. Those are the targets. One on the left, one on the right. They always start pretty fair distance away. Something you can do is that. Set them alight. Get it so that the clock is ticking right away. I think that that's actually not a bad idea at all. You have a threat counter, so you're not in immediate trouble from the very start. But we are going to have walkers coming in. Yumiko and Rick here both have silent weapons. So while range is very, very welcome, being able to keep it hush-hush, probably a good idea as well. And all you've got to do is kill those tough walkers. Not everything that's on the screen. You don't have to kill them and then clear the mission. Just kill those tanks and then you can get out of there. It's worth bearing that in mind. So that can be a nice quick mission. It can be a bit of a nightmare if you start getting bogged down, so I would really recommend trying to use silent ranged weapons. You certainly can use melee characters. I suggest just sort of clearing one side, then go for the other. It gets tricky on harder difficulties, it really does. Hey Lishu. Cat's come to join us. And she's off again. Armoured compound, kill all the walkers. Okay, I think we should go back to the classic melee teams. Let's bring Negan into the mix, because he's just a wacky kind of a guy. So much fun. Yeah. All-American Negan with the French flag. He kicks butt. Okay, lots of big, scary walker types right here. One of the advantages that you might get if you use a melee team is that you don't attract attention so much. You know what I mean? Let's go there. Let's go there. I might be... Yeah, sorry. That was very, very silly. Should have thought that through. Yeah, so you don't, you know, they're just sort of wandering around all over the place, aren't they? That's one of the things that that you can do with melee characters. You don't tend to get their attention. It means that you can take out the walkers more easily one at a time, which can be very beneficial. Sorry that I got you hurt there, Negan. That was just complete misplacement there. But I think this is the last mission anyway. I don't really want it to sit on 1 star. So let's just quickly give it another go. Let's not just leave our little guys right out there. But this is the point. I mean, we got that. Wow, we got an 11% boost to your total health. Doesn't really make that much of a difference, does it? Unfortunately. Swiftly swap that. This one's a pretty good mission though. It's nice and quick and simple. This is perhaps the most straightforward mission in the entire set. There's a bunch of walkers. Yeah, just gotta kill them. I think that the fact that you can bottleneck them with, you know, those debuff circles from Tyrese and stuff, that's pretty good. Obviously Ezekiel you could bring along, being able to always react, always get your Overwatch, that's just lovely. And again, you can see the XP that we're getting from these kills as well. Definitely after you've gone through a couple of rounds of this, you're going to be getting plenty of rewards. And I think we're back to the start. I think the next mission should be Roadrunner. And then that's it. That's the complete set. It's a good set. Can certainly get challenging. I think the ones where you've got the threat counters, that's, you know, those are the trickier ones, basically. Anytime you don't have a threat counter, you can take your time. You can plan your attacks, unless it's the mission Fish in a Barrel. Yeah, we're back to the start. If you do have any particular dramas with any particular mission, then just say. I'll help. Or somebody else might be available to do so. But anyway, good luck with this, and I will see you in the next video.